Loud and clear. Health and Wealth Radio, WNN.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
You are listening to Connections, a place to learn about and celebrate creative approaches to healthcare, education, and wellness. Each week, we explore new ways that creativity can reach and connect individuals in all stages of health and wellness. Join us as our host, Bree Gordon, board-certified music therapist and managing partner with the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute, interviews professionals, volunteers, and community members from healthcare and educational backgrounds. If you are at home or near a computer, you can join us via live streaming video at facebook.com/connections by Aria. We hope you enjoy the program and find new ways to bring the joy of creativity into your life and the lives of those you love. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon, board-certified music therapist here locally in beautiful, sunny South Florida. I am back in the tank top. If you're watching this via video, we strayed from the path last week. We had like parkas and sweaters and jackets in here. It was like a week of 40-degree weather, which honestly, in like the 10 years I've been down here, is like the longest cold snap I can remember. But we made it through. We made it through the Florida winter. Shout out to all my South Floridians. We got through it. Put those boots back away. We're back in 80 degrees. So you know what? I can't complain. You know, it was a nice break while we had it, and it did feel good, but I was kind of happy to see that sunshine back today. So if you are listening from outside of South Florida, I apologize. I don't mean to brag. I'm just letting you know it's beautiful here. If you're looking for a place to escape to during your holiday plannings, come check us out. It's nothing but sunshine and blue skies down here, so we're so lucky. But as you know, with that, makes it a little difficult to get into that holiday spirit. From upstate New York, near Buffalo, New York, which if you're familiar with that area at all, you know that obviously my Christmases looked a little differently, usually accompanied by at least 4 feet of snow. So I'm not saying I need that, but one of my themes, this past couple weeks, both on the show and also working with seniors, if this is your first time joining the show, first of all, thank you. And just to fill you in a little bit, I do work a lot with seniors with neurodegenerative disorders, so those with Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. And we've been creating this winter wonderland over the past several weeks. What does that look like? What does that smell like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like? And a lot of my residents and clients that I work with are from up north. So we've talked a lot about the snow and the chill in the air and the decorations and what it looks like in New York City this time of year and what foods you can smell in the air and what people you might see around the table. It's been really cool to hear their memories through that time, and a lot of special moments have come up. So that's my big plan for this next hour today is honestly to use music in the way that I feel so honored to get to do in my work, to hopefully evoke some holiday memories for you. I'm going to play a couple of my favorite Christmas tunes throughout the show today, and I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite holiday music this time of year? What are some of your favorite traditions? What does listening to this music make you think of? Who whose face comes to mind? What tradition? What cookie recipe? What is a comfort to you during this time? And one way that you can do that is by either calling into the show, 888-565-1470, or checking us out on our Facebook Live channel. So if you are safely home, not driving, and can have a computer in front of you, I do recommend that you go check us out there at facebook.com/connections by Aria. You'll find all of our past shows are archived there, and this show streaming live. So if you need to step away for any moment, don't want to miss a song or a memory or a conversation that we're going to have later in the show, you can always come back and check it out there. Again, facebook.com/connections by Aria. Right under the video is a lovely spot to leave your comments, and that's where I would love to hear from you. I do check those on commercial breaks, so if there is something special that you want me to share on the show, again, a special memory, or a song that has a lot of meaning for you, please, I would love to hear from you right there on our Facebook page. So, as I mentioned, going to talk about some music today, some memories, some touching moments through the holidays, and the theme we've really been focused on this last couple months as we've gone through what I kind of just, consider from Thanksgiving to New Year's is just a season of gratitude. Certainly every day of the year can be a day of gratitude. There's so much value in just slowing down and being thankful. But really this time especially when it's the songs may have been written years ago that use the words hustle and bustle, but it is still appropriate today. It is just a busy, busy time of year. And not only are you busy running from celebration to celebration, and often that's really good things, and there's family and friends and concerts and shows and things to do, parties, office parties. But it's so easy to get caught up in just making it at everything, just making an appearance. How many times did you hear that? I have 4 parties to get it, let's just make an appearance. When you're making an appearance, or you're so stressed out to rush to that place, are you really enjoying the moment? I mean, again, these are things that happen once a year, right? These are celebrations and parties and gathering, and what are we really gaining if we're just making an appearance and feeling stressed and maybe worried about being late to the next obligation? They go from celebrations to obligations, basically. So how do we slow down this time of year, forgive ourselves for not maybe making it to everything, or for having the tree perfectly trimmed? Mine's not. Having your shopping totally done? Mine's barely started. I gotta forgive myself of these things. Sometimes life is just a little bit crazy, and slowing down is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think you'll get more out of your holiday season if you do that. And do forgive yourself. The tree will get done. The presents will get done. The Christmas cards, yeah, they didn't get out either. Sometimes that happens. Here's my official shout out to everyone I'd send my Christmas card to. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We're doing great. Hope you are too. You know what? It's not always going to be that Instagram perfect holiday like we talked about a couple weeks ago. And that's okay. You forgive yourself. I'm sure those that love you will forgive you. Here's what's a better use of your time. Kindness. If you forgo all those deadlines and the picture perfect and the every single party and making the appearance, and just slow down and reduce that list slightly, but in the meantime are present and aware and just in the moment with people and showing kindness, I really feel like you will get so much more out of your holiday as well as those around you. There's so much value in that. And I say this is by no means am I perfect at this at all. Saturday was a day that I had multiple things lined up, and I felt that stress. I got to make it to this, and then I got to hurry to this, and then I got to make this, and then I got to go to that. And I really had to make a very conscious effort to say, hey, you're here, wherever you are, you're there for a reason. What is that reason? What are you meant to take from this or give in this moment? And I really tried to stay conscious of that. And one of those things, and everything I had planned was super fun, by the way. No one was forcing me to go to any of these things. They were just amazing, wonderful things that all happened to be at the same time because that is the holiday season. One of the things I honestly had the privilege of being at, it's another way to look at things, right? I didn't have to be there. It was a privilege to be there. Was this incredible volunteer event that was organized by a nonprofit called Wish of a Lifetime, which if you haven't heard of them, go check it out. It's basically Make-A-Wish type idea, but for older adults, their final wish. So we were contacted by this organization, Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute, to help fulfill a wish for a local senior who was living in memory care, who was nominated by the activity director at his facility, and said this gentleman was a musician and a conductor all of his life, and his wish, and the wish of that of his husband's as well, was to have a piano concert for his birthday. So for the past month, I contacted every single musician I know, slightly know, have no idea about, just trying to cast the widest net across all of South Florida to make this happen. Well, it was just the trifecta of holiday concerts and vacations and students having finals, and it just was not happening. So I'm getting calls from the organization that we've got 60 people are going to be at the facility, and we're bringing in this special piano that was the individual whose wish it was, his own personal piano, a reception set up. It's going to be a lovely party. Who's your pianist? And I'm so sorry. Like, I cannot find anyone. I don't know what to do. And so with 48 hours to go, I kept casting that net, and everybody I knew was sharing it out there too. I mean, it was incredible to see how many people in our area was reached by this message. And along the way, through a connection of the organization, they found this woman to play this concert the day before. And so I thought, well, even though it's not our therapist or one of my friends, I really want to be a part of it, because my heart has been in this project and just thinking about this gentleman and his wish for the last month. So went down to Fort Lauderdale and just sat, as part of this beautiful celebration. And it was just incredible. I mean, I watched. Half the room was the memory care residents who live with the gentleman, and then the other half was his friend from the community. People who sang in his choir, or was friends or family, or just members of, the community he used to live in before he moved into memory care, friends of his husband's. And to watch them all come together through this moment, and the way the gentleman whose wish it was seated was behind the piano. So it almost appeared as if he was playing the piano. And his husband next to him singing in his ear and tapping the rhythm. And the pianist was so wonderful and explaining everything. And she was a beautiful storyteller. And I just thought, okay, this is why I need to remember that things happen for a reason. I had been so worried about this and just had to surrender. One, ask for help. I'm not getting this done on my own. I need help. And also just trusting that the right person would come to this situation, which is not always easy to do when you like to be in charge of everything, which I'll just speak for myself. Maybe there's someone out there that feels the same way. It was such a huge lesson for me, and just a lesson to sit back and receive in this moment and enjoy the music and enjoy the Christmas caroling at the end that I wasn't leading, I wasn't organizing, and I wasn't performing. I got to receive it. It was just a really great opportunity for me to just remember to live in the moment, especially when we just have so many things on our list and so many people to make happy. That's how we look at things, right? We gotta be there. We gotta make them happy. So many, gifts to buy or this, that, and the other thing. The greatest gift you can be, or the greatest gift you can give, is just to be present. That is I didn't even plan to talk about this today. I kind of just got led to this. And it really kind of works out well. I promise I will do music as well, but I really felt like I wanted to share that because it really impacted me so much this weekend to just receive that message myself, and I wanted to share it. But I have a friend calling in tonight who's actually been on the show before when he lived here in South Florida, left South Florida about a year ago, moved to the Houston area. Not long after, had to be evicted from his home in Houston as a result of Hurricane Harvey and flooding happening at his apartment. Then weeks after that, Maria came through. and affected where his family is in Puerto Rico. And obviously, we know, or at least have some idea of the impact that not only that made, but that it continues to make. I went and saw someone speak this past Friday about an island that she lived on off of Puerto Rico, and she's now living in South Florida as a refugee from this situation. And she was explaining that the individuals on her island still do not have power. And it had just been 100 days. Just try to imagine that for a moment. And it's not like life stopped and, stopped being a parent or an employee or a boss or a business owner or whatever. Life still has to go on, but with no power. And I know that's one situation she was talking about, one area. We're going to learn a lot more from Tony about what that situation is about. But in the light of I want you to receive this and what he's sharing in this holiday spirit. And going back to the idea of just slowing down and being aware of those in our community, near and far, who are in need of a little extra this holiday season. And if you are feeling so fortunate to be in a position of, I'm okay right now, I'm doing okay, I'm safe, I have a roof over my head, my family's fed, we're happy, what can I do? That's what we're going to talk about today. Here is a really good opportunity of how we can help support our community this holiday season. And I promise I'll do music too. I'm sorry I talked to you to music. I promise I will not do that the whole time. But stick around. We're going to be talking to Tony Milan right after this quick commercial break. The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. Are you a music therapist or part of the music therapy community? If so, we're excited to announce Aria. Aria is a mobile app that provides tools, resources, and community for today's modern music therapist. You can plan, implement, and share music therapy interventions with the community, keep track of your schedule and contacts, and learn from other members in our community section. Best of all, Aria is free. Visit arianow.com to get started today. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon. Whether you found us at 95.3 FM, 1470 AM on iHeartRadio, or on Facebook.com/Connections by Aria, I'm so glad that you did. This is actually our last live show of the year, as the next 2 Mondays are both Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So we'll have tape shows running at that time, but this is our last show of the year, and it's a really special one. Like I said, I do want to close out the night tonight with some music for you all, and I'm checking that Facebook in between to see if anyone has any special songs that, they really love to hear this time of year that are a great comfort to them. But I also do want to focus on, or continue focusing on, this idea of kindness and gratitude. I asked a question a little earlier in the day on Facebook about what people are particularly grateful for this holiday season, and guess what? Not that it would be wrong, but not one person mentioned a single material item. When it comes down to it, it was family, friends, every day. Some people shared, hey, I had some recent loss this year. I'm really just thankful for life and for health. One of the things that one of my friends shared was the safety of their family from the storms. Again, these are not material things, although that's okay. If you just bought a brand new car and you've worked so hard for that car and you're grateful for it, I'm not knocking that at all. I've been there. I understand. But sometimes things are just as simple as safety from the storm. And when I saw my friend's comment that said that, I just messaged him and said, would you mind calling in tonight and just really offering some perspective on, appreciating, the safety and feeling that gratitude, but also letting people know there's still things we can do. That if you are so lucky to feel like, hey, I'm okay, my family's okay, what can I do for others? This is an option for you. And I'm thinking he's on the line. Tony, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tony, thank you so much for taking the time to call in tonight. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for the opportunity to share this with everybody. And it's so special that you reached out to me on this last show. So congratulations on this awesome year.
Thank you. And it's so funny because I started to think about, as I was driving down here, just the year in review and some of the, the guests that I've had on the past year and the past 2 years. And one of my favorite memories just remains, I know I've repeated this story so many times, when you and your beautiful wife were in here and, we're just having this great, honest conversation about just coping with, struggles of being a parent and maybe sometimes working from home and being a business owner and just, we're just in the moment, just sharing all this honesty. And then you hear this noise from behind me, and it was the sound of your 2-year-old daughter stomping on her diaper cream, splattering all over the studio. And I will never forget just the appreciation I had for live video and radio in that moment as we all tried not to burst out laughing. So thank you for giving me one of my favorite moments on this show ever.
Thank you. That was a teachable moment for everybody. Yes. And now Valentina is turning 4 in March.
Oh, my gosh.
So time flies very quickly.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I love how you said that in the moment, too. Like this moment, for example.
Exactly.
Balancing life and work. Real life example. Oh, no, you guys are awesome. I know you've had some amazing opportunity to, since you left us here in South Florida and went on to Houston and just, like I said, you're killing it out there with what you share and the work that you're doing. And I do want to give you a chance to talk about that as well. But let's just kind of get right into it. If you wouldn't mind walking us through, what the experience for hurricane, preparedness and relief was like for you personally, and then, weeks later experiencing this with your family.
Yeah. Well, it was very difficult because when Hurricane Harvey started to get announced, to be honest, I was not getting ready at all. I thought it was just going to stay to the west or just go up north. I really wasn't expecting it to move the way it moved. And because I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, I kind of have an idea of how hurricanes behave. But it definitely caught us by surprise. And at that point, I was transitioning from working at MD Anderson Cancer Center. I was transitioning into Houston Methodist Hospital because I got recently hired there in August as a music therapist for the Center for Cell and Gene Therapy. And I remember it was Eclipse Monday, the day that I started working. And I think after that week is when they announced Harvey. And I would say it was maybe like 3 or 4 days before the hurricane hit where I actually saw that it was moving closer to the Houston area. And we live northeast of Houston in a small city called Kingwood. So we just started getting ready, just like a good islander. We try to go and buy all of the groceries and buy all of the water that we needed and the gas stove, because we've been here for a year, so we really didn't have any hurricane preparedness stuff ready. And so as we started getting ready, we just, that weekend we stayed home. And I remember that it was a Saturday, Sunday, and here in Houston we got hit pretty badly with a lot of rain, as everybody knows. And so in Kingwood, at that point, we did not experience any flooding per se. So I really thought that we were going to be out of harm's way in that regard. And it was really heartbreaking. I mean, I was seeing on social media, a couple of my friends losing their homes and losing their cars and just feeling like, you can't do anything because you're just disconnected 45 minutes away from your friends. So there's really nothing you can do until the thing is said and done. And so that Tuesday morning, I wake up and I look outside the window and I see that there's like 2 feet of water on the street. And I was trying to figure out why that happened. And we received a text message the night before from the apartment complex that we live at. We're in the second floor. And it said, please move the cars to the second level of or higher on the multi-level parking. And I took the cars and I put them on the second floor just in case. But I was very, very skeptical that the water was going to rise where we are. So as the time passes, I see 2 feet, then I see these almost like 3 feet, 4 feet. And I go outside just to take a look at what's happening, and there's already flooding on the other side of the street. I'm seeing neighbors with kayaks and jet skis and little boats going up and down trying to take people out of their apartments. And the water up to this point didn't get to our house, to our complex. And I told my wife, I said, Leo, I'm just going to go ahead and take a nap with Valentina, and then I'll just wake up. So when I go take a nap, and I would say that maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, I hear Lamaris going into the house, into the apartment, and she's, touching me. She's saying, Tony, we got to go. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, we got to go now. I'll explain to you later. We have 10 minutes. So I wake up, and I'm just, just running around trying to get Valentina's clothes, my daughter, trying to get food. We have a small dog, so I'm trying to get the dog ready, and everything in 10 minutes. And I wake up my daughter. I put some, clothes on her, put the raincoat on, and we start going downstairs. And when I look outside, there's like 5.5 feet of water, and the water is coming in to the apartment complex, and there's a boat with members of FEMA outside, and it's raining, and I walk into the boat, and the guy looks at me in the eye, and the first thing that he said, were you thinking on staying? And I said, well, yeah, we had food, and I don't think the water is going to come to the second floor. And he said, do you have enough water for 4 days and food? And I said, no, sir, I do not have enough water and food for 4 days. And he said, this is the best thing you have done, because the water is going to keep rising, and we don't know when it's going to be the next time that we're going to come to save you, to get you out. So
that's sobering. Wow.
Oh, it was incredible, and it was almost like a movie. I could not believe what was going on. I've survived so many hurricanes in the past. When I lived in Puerto Rico, I survived Hurricane Hugo in '89, and Hortense in '95, and Lewis, and Hurricane Georges in 1998, which was the roughest hurricane that I've ever lived. It was Category 4 winds, but I've never seen so much rain that it would affect us. And so as we're taking, in my positive mindset, I say we took a private boat tour of our neighborhood in the FEMA boat. The guy that is working, he's from California. He said, I just got deployed because they need more hands. So we get out of the boat, it's raining, and the firefighter comes to us, and he says, how many in your household? And we say, well, it's 3 of us and the dog. Okay, so you got to walk, like a quarter mile up until you see one of the metro buses. Jump on the metro bus. They're going to take you to the church. And so they take us to the church, and we were received with, warm blankets and socks and all kinds of things. And it was packed. I mean, that church was packed with people. There was people all over on the floors, on every single room of the church. And it was at capacity. And thankfully, we had a friend that lived 2 miles away on the other side of Kingwood that did not flood. And he was so gracious. His name is Andrew Aria. And he actually helped us. We stayed in his house, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. It was me, my wife, my daughter, and him, 4 people. And we stayed there for almost 2 weeks. And, Bri, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for all of the people that showed up, when we were losing our wages and we could not make any income. And so many people came out to help us so we could pay our bills. My boss graciously offered to donate some of the PTOs to be able to pay some of the bills. And so we go through that whole ordeal, right? And a little bit after that, then Hurricane Irma hit West Florida. and we have some family there. And so I'm thinking about them, and we're trying to send some help. And then like a week later or 2 weeks later, then Maria hits Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh.
So it was back to back, and I'm a music therapist, and you know that as therapists we learn coping mechanisms and ways to cope with things like this. But I have never experienced this kind of compounded grief, even working with hospice and knowing how to deal with grief. But the Puerto Rico situation, obviously we've never seen a hurricane like this in the modern era. And just the fact that I was not able to talk to my family for 4 or 5 days because there was no cell phone towers, not knowing if they were okay, if the houses were okay, if they had food, if it was very nerve-wracking because we were already dealing with our own financial issues and everything, and then on top of that, our family and our friends back home were suffering. So 4 days pass, and I finally get a phone call from my sister. And I remember like it was today. I was standing in the bone marrow transplant unit. I was actually doing a presentation for the nurses about music therapy. And I get the phone call, and I tell everybody, hey, it's my sister. I gotta get out.
Gotta go, yeah.
They understood. I got out, and I said, Janita, are you okay? Is mommy okay? And she said, we're fine. It's just that there was a lot of wind, so the wind blew off the AC units on the roof, and the water started leaking inside of the house. So we lost all the carpets. We lost the furniture of our bedrooms, but we're okay. So everything was okay. I was able to talk to my dad as well. And what was really amazing or impressive about this is that Hurricane Maria was, I call it the great equalizer. It didn't matter if you were a person, if you were poor or you were rich or right in the middle. Everybody in Puerto Rico was looking for the same things. Everybody was looking for clean water. Everybody was looking for batteries, And if any of our listeners has never gone to Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico was hardly industrialized in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So when you go to Puerto Rico, there's everything. It feels like if you're in Florida. There's Subways and Burger Kings and Kmarts and Walmarts and everything. So when you go from having everything in your reach to all of a sudden, hey, I cannot get batteries, so my battery-powered fan is not working. I cannot find potable water, drinkable water, and so people are just started drinking water from the rivers and drinking water from other sources that were contaminated by dead animals. So people started contracting leptospirosis bacterium, and so people started dying because of that. And it's the heartbreaking part of all of this, on top of people not being able to find food and find water and losing your home, is that the death toll of Hurricane Maria is way higher than anybody would think. Yeah. By the time that they saw that there was 16 casualties, we already knew that it was in the hundreds. Yeah. And if you work in a hospital, medical people, that if the hospital has no power, everybody that was ventilator dependent or on a dialysis machine, most of those people, it was devastating. That they passed.
Right.
And right now, I was reading, I think it was the Washington Post, and the governor of Puerto Rico was talking about the official count going up to 64 deaths. But so people actually think that it's in the thousands, it's in the 1,000s, because many people got disconnected. There are small, Puerto Rico doesn't have cities. Puerto Rico has 78 municipalities. Mm-hmm. And there are municipalities on the countryside that are connected by small bridges that are maybe 80 years old. So many of those bridges fell off, and a lot of people got disconnected. And the only way that they were getting food and water, it was by the Coast Guard and the Army going in their helicopters to do drop-offs. So it's been a really devastating situation. Like you mentioned, it's been 100+ days after the hurricane, and there are still people without power. I was reading today in the news that around 65% of the country has been somehow powered. There are beliefs that that is not true, that the number is actually lower than that. And so because there's a lack of power, then what that has done is that many of the businesses have had to close because they cannot afford buying more of the diesel to maintain everything powered. And as of today, I believe the New York Times had a column that was saying that up until the month of December, it was expected that 300,000 Puerto Ricans have left the island to come to the mainland. And so that's a big hit to the economy. Of course, the Puerto Rico Energy Company has been trying to reestablish the energy and the power grid, being it in itself $9 billion in debt, the actual power company. And so it's a very, very difficult time for Puerto Rico. They think that the island will be powered, totally powered, quote unquote. I don't know how true this is, but they're estimating for May of 2018. So try to imagine going, 9 months without power. And it's so sad when you see your friends on Facebook, hugging and crying, leaving their families behind at the airport because there's no other option. You have to be separated from your family. And so you're dealing with financial losses. You're dealing with emotional losses, with familial losses. You lost your home and you lost your job. Maybe you lost a family member. And watching all of that occur, that's how the Puerto Rico Recovery Arts Initiative was born, and that's what you saw in the conference this year.
Okay. First of all, Tony, thank you for sharing your story. I mean, as an outsider, particularly when you were going through Harvey, I appreciated you taking those videos. I have a visual for what you're describing with the kayaks and the water rising, because every day you were, updating people on what was going and then all of a sudden you weren't for a little while, and then you had shared the news about, having to evacuate and living with your friend. And so you really let people into your story, which I thought was a really interesting perspective, because I think it made people aware. Again, this was before we had Irma over here, and certainly because, you had lived here, had so many friends, and like you mentioned, family from Florida. It was interesting having that perspective, and then living through Irma, certainly, at least myself personally, feel very grateful for not having, damage at my home, but just gave me an awareness of what it could be like for people, because again, you really sharing your story with others, and then who could have ever imagined that it would just, like you said, compound it from there. So I do appreciate you sharing so much about what that was like for you, and I think that again, you experiencing it, and just because of who you are, and you're such a great storyteller, and you really are a good person at just keeping your head up and looking for what the greatest need is. And I want to thank you during this time where certainly you did deal with a lot of grief and a lot of losses of different things. And I mean, thankfully your family is safe, but certainly a lot of changes. And to still keep your head up and to still look for ways to help people, that is exactly, what I think we can just hope to be, all of us, just a shred of that, this holiday season and beyond. These are things that don't just happen this time of year. This is a good time of year to, to stop and to look towards, our community and how we can help out. But things like natural disasters and fires out west and, these things that happen are just everyday losses. This continues through the year. This is not isolated to one time that we can just give, at holiday time. This is an example of it. But certainly we are all affected by things every day. And I really, again, I just want to commend you, Tony, for just being such an outstanding community member that no matter what you were going through, you were still looking to help other people. And I really look up to you for that. So thank you.
No, thank you. I think that hope is the last thing that you have to lose. I mean, you have to keep your hopes up, and that's exactly what I did. And as a therapist, I felt both as a therapist and as a Puerto Rican that lives here in the mainland, I felt convicted in my heart that something needed to be done. Something needed to be done. And it was so beautiful, Bree, because I was able, through social media, to connect with other Puerto Rican music therapists or music therapy interns and music therapy grad students that I didn't even know existed. We got connected through social media, and through conversations, I said, hey, guys, what would you think if we create a union, or we create a group that we can go to Puerto Rico and provide just, creative art therapy services for emotional release and relief. And working here in Houston, I was part of something called Harvey Healing Days. So the music therapists and the art therapists from the Texas Medical Center, we actually got together, and we are going into the community to provide our services for free to a variety of populations that suffered through Hurricane Harvey. So I already had this idea of things that can be done. Awesome. And we got together via phone, and I said, hey, guys, what if we take this idea of bringing, music therapy and the creative arts to Puerto Rico, and just go to a variety of places that have been pinpointed by Dr. Marta Hernandez, who's a music therapist in Puerto Rico, and just go to places that she has targeted as high-need places to go and just offer our services. And so the American Music Therapy Association conference committee was so gracious. I called them last minute, right before conference, and I said, hey, we just got together, a couple of music therapists. We really want to bring some special therapy sessions for free to Puerto Rico. Can you give us a little table in a corner in the registration, for 1 hour to be able to talk about what we want to do, what's our vision? And they were so gracious. They said, you know what, a university just canceled one of their booths, so we're going to give you a booth at the conference for free. We're going to donate it for you. And so in that booth, we were able to give people information. So we named it the Puerto Rico Arts Recovery Initiative. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Puerto Rico in March, which will be led by myself and Dr. Marta Hernandez. We're going to go in June, and then we're going to go in the anniversary of Hurricane Aria in September. Wow. And every single group, those two groups prior to the anniversary, are going to be compounding all of the songwriting experiences and the drumming experiences and the art experiences are going to be building up for that anniversary where we're going to present the final projects in the community. A lot of students signed up they wanted to learn more and see how they can come to Puerto Rico and help. We had people from not-for-profit organizations reach out to us and say, what do you need? Here's how much money I can offer you for the instruments. Here you go. And so I think in this life, when you have good intentions, when you give with your heart, when you say, there's a need that I have targeted, and I'm just going to take some of the blessings that I have received in this life and just pay it forward, how much better your life feels because you're giving forward, you're giving back to where the need is at, and just experiencing how people were so selfless and saying, how can I help you? We've been trying to find ways to support the Puerto Rico efforts, but we just don't know how. Right. And we said, hey, we are Puerto Rican music therapists. Let's tell you what we want to do. And so thankfully, we were able to contact some artists also in Puerto Rico. I contacted a dance company, and then I'm going to take one of the art therapists with me on this flight in March, and we're just going to provide free services for a whole weekend. Because, even if it's going to be in March, but like I said, there's a lot of places that won't have power until May. People are still living in shelters. People have lost loved ones and jobs, and we just want to bring a little ray of light, and maybe people that maybe not verbally can express how they're feeling, but maybe through, playing drums or through writing a song or through creating art where they just have to show a couple of colors and say, whatever you're feeling right now, just put it on this piece of paper, put it on this piece of canvas, and let's just build this beautiful tree of hope that we're going to be putting together. So that's our vision for this upcoming 2018, 3 mission trips to Puerto Rico with board-certified creative art therapists.
I love that, Tony. I mean, it's just so awesome. I cannot wait to follow this and see some of the responses you get. And just our final minute together, before we go to a commercial break, how can people listening and watching tonight help support this mission?
Yeah, so if you want any of the information to help either with the purchase of the instruments or just sending some money, just email me and I'll send you all of the information. You can email me to tonymedicalmt@gmail.com. That's TONY medicalmt@gmail.com. I will send you all of the information that you need to be able to donate and make this dream happen.
Awesome. Can you post that also on the Facebook Live video?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I will.
That would be great. Tony, thank you so much for taking the time. I just want to let you know that my heart, and I know I speak for others, is with you during this time. You've had a really challenging past several months, and just thank you for spinning that and spinning the trials that you had into such hope and joy to bring to others. It's a beautiful thing. It's what this season is all about, and I really appreciate you.
No, thank you so much. Like the book from Dan Millman says, and the Way of the Peaceful Warrior, service, there is no higher calling.
Love that. That's perfect. Thank you again, Tony. Happy holidays to you and your beautiful family. I can't wait to follow up on this project. Please do post your email again there on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/connections by Aria. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break with a few holiday songs. The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. Are you a music therapist or part of the music therapy community? If so, we're excited to announce Aria. Aria is a mobile app that provides tools, resources, and community for today's modern music therapist. You can plan, implement, and share music therapy interventions with the community, keep track of your schedule and contacts, and learn from other members in our community section. Best of all, Aria is free. Visit arianow.com to get started today. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Connections. I'm your host, Bree Gordon. Thank you so much for checking us out tonight, whether you found us at 95.3 FM, 1470 AM on iHeartRadio, or on our Facebook Live channel at facebook.com/connections by Aria. This is our last live show of the year, closing out 2017. We will have tape shows for both Christmas and New Year's, but I will not be here. I will get the opportunity to share Christmas and New Year's, actually, with my mom, which I'm so excited. She'll be traveling down here to Florida and have an opportunity to travel up north to see some family as well. So I'm going to enjoy this holiday season and try to follow my own advice and slow down as best that I can, appreciate the moments, appreciate the memories, recognize that is the true value of this season. And I hope and wish for the same for you as well, and hope you have those opportunities. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on this year, and I so appreciate my friend Tony taking the time to call into the show, someone who truly has been through the ringer these last few months, both personally going through Hurricane Harvey, but also experiencing the confusion and the fear of waiting to hear from his family in Puerto Rico as they went through that 4 to 5 day period of not hearing anything. And again, so appreciate his story of not only sharing it, but also turning that into a way that we can help others. So if you missed any part of our conversation, I hope you will check out our Facebook Live video and just listen to Tony's story, because he also gives some great opportunities to get involved in helping out a wonderful project. They've organized music therapists, art therapists, and dancing and all different sorts of healing arts to fly into Puerto Rico and also utilize the amazing talent of the individuals already living there to just bring some hope and some joy and some play and some community to the individuals down there that have really, really just had a very complicated time. Many still without power, their lives just totally placed either on hold or just having to adjust to a new normal. So bringing a little bit of joy to them, which I think is so wonderful. So he's going to post some information on our Facebook Live page of how you can follow up with him if you feel so inclined to donate any kind of resources or money, instruments, art materials, money for flights to send these professionals who'll be volunteering their time down to Puerto Rico. That is a really beautiful way to give back this holiday season. Again, they have 3 trips planned for next year. I believe he said March, June, and then in the anniversary in September. And just another shout out to Tony. A couple years ago, I talked a lot about on the show after the Pulse shooting had happened in Orlando. And Tony was the one that got us a venue within 24 hours of, myself and my friend Elisa having this idea of just wanting to do something, got us a venue to put on a benefit concert for the friends and family members and the surviving members who experienced that Pulse shooting. So great guy, doing some amazing things, and certainly a wonderful use of your resources if you so choose this holiday season. All right, I've got a few moments left. I did promise some holiday music, maybe selfishly because I just love it. And we only really get to listen to this and sing this stuff once a year. This is one of my favorite songs, and it's not one of the more upbeat, fun, poppy songs, but I think after hearing that story from Tony and his focus on just being a light and a beacon of hope in the community, this song really kind of just stuck out to me. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary soul rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night, oh, holy night, oh, night divine. Led by the light, a face serenely beaming, with glowing hearts, by his cradle we stand. So led by light of a star sweetly gleaming, here came the wise men from Orient land. The King of Kings lay thus in lowly manger, with all our trials, born to be our friend. Fall on your knees, or hear the angel voices. O night divine, O night when Christ was born. O night, O holy night, O night divine. Close with one more tonight. In closing, before this will probably wrap up our last segment for the show tonight, and I just want to say thank you, just for the last year, the last 2.5 years, for this opportunity to just share with you every week, just a little bit of light and hope. That's what we're talking about, resources in our community. I hope that it has been a comfort to you. I know that I so appreciate meeting these new people every single week and just seeing the good that is out there, the good that's in the world. A lot of times we receive these just negative stories and we hear all this bad news, but there's good news out there. There's good people out there, and we can be one of them. That's the best news of all. It's good people out there, and we can be those good people. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity, for listening and joining week after week, for sharing your story. I'm so grateful, and I count you among my blessings. And we'll close up with one more song tonight. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year. I can't wait to see you in the new year. Thank you for your wonderful support all year. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening to Connections. We hope you enjoyed today's program and discover new ways to bring creativity into your home or place of work. If you have any questions for our host Bree or today's guest, please email them at bree@pbmti.com or call at 561-747-9944. Thank you for sharing the music with us.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.